Welcome to Faces of Change, Understanding and Managing Generations in the Workplace, from Express Employment Professionals. The workforce as we know it is changing. Diversity, not just in terms of gender and ethnicity, but also in the sense of generational norms, attitudes and work styles, is changing the way we recruit, retain and manage employees. We are all products of our experiences and environments, but it's becoming increasingly clear that to succeed in today's competitive business world, we must look beyond our personal preferences and preconceptions. Today's workplace requires engaging employees of diverse ages, viewpoints, and expectations. It's also about relating to different generations, whose upbringing has influenced their interpersonal communication styles, work habits, and motivation. Studies show that the greater the variation of age groups in a workplace, the lower the overall engagement scores. According to a survey by the Society of Human Resource Management, 72% of respondents said intergenerational conflict is an issue at work. Employee engagement is the key. We can start by learning more about the generations that compose today's workforce. Which generation are you? Born before 1946, traditionalists were shaped and strongly influenced by the struggles of the Depression era and World War II. Food, cash and jobs were scarce. Families were close-knit. Education was often a luxury. These folks weren't looking for a dream career or personal fulfillment. They came home from the service looking for any work they could find to protect their loved ones from poverty. Today, traditionalists account for less than 16% of our total population. And while their group has faded from the forefront of the workplace somewhat, the values these loyal, patriotic, hard-working individuals espoused still resonate on many levels. In the workplace, traditionalists favor top-down management modeled after the military. Very stable and detail-oriented, they are uncomfortable with change, conflicts, and ambiguity. They place great value in face-to-face communication, the wisdom of experience, recognition through handwritten notes, and mementos. With traditionalists, don't use slang, be late. Do respect them, be courteous, on a chain of command, and be accountable. Discussion. Scenario 1. A traditionalist employee is wary of the internet and emails. How would you communicate with him or her? Scenario 2. The lead on a project assigned to a traditionalist is a younger employee. How would you advise the project lead? Baby boomers are born between 1946 and 1964. Unlike traditionalists, boomers grew up in prosperous and competitive times. The economy was flourishing, jobs were abundant, bigger was better, bigger houses, bigger cars, bigger paychecks. Boomers were driven to excel at their jobs, not so much out of duty and honor to the company mission, but out of a burning desire to get ahead. In a word, workaholics, and they make up about a third of the population. In the workplace, they are the first ones in the office and the last to leave. Hard-working, self-sacrificing, service-oriented, boomers earn their way up the corporate ladder and demand respect for their knowledge and experience. They want to be viewed as mentors, working with a high degree of independence. Boomers are problem solvers who put process ahead of results, with less focus on budgets and actual costs. They are uncomfortable with conflict and opposing opinions. Rather than embrace new technology, they tend to hoard information by avoiding technology, relying instead on face-to-face discussions and phone calls. To them, attention from a supervisor could be seen as micromanaging or indicative of a lack of trust. While money, a title, and power may be the ultimate rewards, don't overlook the importance of traditional recognition, such as trophies, plaques, certificates, and public acknowledgement. With baby boomers, don't be politically incorrect. Ignore their contributions. Tell rather than ask. Do value their experiences. Give them credit and rewards, and redefine retirement. Discussion. Scenario 1. A baby boomer employee wants to delay retirement. How do you respond to this request? Scenario 2. How would you encourage a baby boomer to be more forthcoming with information and more of a team player? Generation X. Gen Xers were born between 1965 and 1978. Also known as the latchkey generation, Generation X accounts for about 20% of our population. More than half have earned a post-secondary degree, and 43% have at least a bachelor's degree. Gen Xers may feel penned in by baby boomers and threatened by younger, up-and-coming generations who may have less formal education, but they are confident with the new technology and are more street-savvy. Making up 20% of the population, Gen Xers grew up fending for themselves, as one or both parents worked. For them, work-life balance means an ability to pay the bills while acquiring new skills and earning more time to enjoy life outside the office. Through new technology and systems, they feel confident in moving forward with projects, taking on challenges with a great degree of freedom and working in an autonomous manner. They are adaptable and not limited or intimidated by authority. In fact, the Gen Xer views interaction with a supervisor as validation. Gen Xers believe in competence and earned respect. They thrive in work situations with fewer rules, more flexibility and creativity. And while communication through emails and working from home may suit them best, there can be a downside to this independent work style. Lack of face-to-face collaboration can cause Gen Xers to be impatient, cynical, and lacking in people skills. They desire recognition of positive results, money, and extra time off, but they're sometimes unwilling to go through all the paces required to achieve this success. With Generation X, don't micromanage, talk too much. Treat them as slackers. Do give fast feedback. Groom them for management. Help with social skills. Discussion. Scenario 1. A Generation X employee asks to work on a project from home. What will you have to consider in making a decision? Scenario 2. A Generation X employee descants and is impatient with a younger, less experienced member of your team. What would you say to both employees? Born between 1979 and 1995, millennials have been called Generation X on fast-forward with self-esteem on steroids. If previous generations were driven by loyalty, ambition, and work-life balance, millennials are most influenced by the individual attention they receive from their parents. They are self-confident and optimistic. An incredible and emerging force in today's workplace, millennials make up about 30% of our population. Self-confidence, optimism, and tenacity are the key words here. This creative, visual, and technologically advanced group is all about challenges and multitasking. Communication is fast-paced, with smartphones, social networks, and tablets replacing face-to-face conversations. Millennials represent a radical departure from the traits we've normally associated with our most valuable employees. They thrive on change where communication is fast-paced. They don't conform to accepted norms, such as the idea that long hours equal greater productivity. Millennials work because they enjoy social interaction, learning, and the paycheck that supports their interests outside the office. They expect their relationship with the supervisor to be one of collaboration, focusing on results and competence, not tenure. With a great degree of self-confidence, people in this group expect and demand rewards for performance, salary increases, and bonuses. Advancement opportunities, time off, and recognition are part of their job requirements. Otherwise, the millennial employee has no problem moving on. With millennials, don't treat them like children. Focus exclusively on long work hours. Do provide training and mentors. Keep them busy. Allow them to multitask. Discussion. Scenario 1. A millennial employee uses technology to communicate but lacks interpersonal skills. How would you help him or her improve in this area? Scenario 2. Your employees work independently with a great deal of autonomy. What can you do to keep a millennial focused and on schedule? Linksters. There's a new generational group on the horizon, and what they'll bring to the workplace is still anyone's guess. Born after 1995, they have been referred to as Linksters, iGen, Generation Next, or Gen We. While they're still developing, it's important for us to realize that in just a few short years, this group will be joining the workforce too, adding yet another layer of influences, attributes, and communication challenges to the art and science of employee engagement. We know that this generation is intolerant of prejudice and are true team players. They prefer texting over speaking, need constant feedback and reassurance, and want to be recognized for their success. As they grow older and start to enter the workforce, we'll learn more about how their technology-focused upbringing. The tables here compare the generations we've discussed. Thank you for participating in this presentation. For any staffing requirements or leadership training, please contact Express Employment Professionals.